Okay.
Sweet.
All right. So this is our introduction to the Be Ultimate Playbook segment here. That was a shitty introduction, but I will cut that into a little bit better situation. So far we've only done offensive plays, sets, whatever we want to call them, and it has been a struggle actually for us to find defensive content, and has been a it's actually part of our agreement with the Ultimate to get some in there. So thank you for finding a defensive set. Before I click play, is there anything that you want to mention about what we're about to watch, or do you want me to just hit the play button? And can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen. I guess maybe a little useful to talk through it first so we know what we're looking for.
Sure.
Like Kuski mentioned before, we heavily scout everyone we play, but especially going into nationals. And this was a product of that scouting. We know that Santa Barbara loves their vert stack. We know kind of who their primary people are that they're looking for off the initiation. So this is like a kind of vert bracket set with kind of some specific personnel adjustments. So we know that we're like fronting Laura Bloomy is who we were highlighting here. Green headband, awesome player. And I guess maybe play it and then we can maybe pause when we like set up to it. I don't know, because you have anything to
How about I'll play it through kind of once and then we'll do our best job to commentate over it and then play it back with more pauses.
Sounds good. It doesn't look like much of anything, like we said, is kind of the point of it.
Hopefully it's not too choppy. I think when I watched it, it was pretty clear that it was
nice.
What you're. So a bit of a bracket here around the vert. Active switching in that lane.
Mm-hmm. And then we lock here.
And then you're out. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Are you out into a specific force, or is it a force middle?
I think we're probably forcing backhand.
Backhand?
Yeah.
Oh, a little piece there. I didn't notice that.
A big hand block there, yeah.
That's Bella Russell, a freshman who we adore.
Oh, yeah. I was watching finals next to the Dark Side coaches, and they were talking about Bella quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's awesome.
Okay, so Bella's pulling too, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So off the bat here, are you sending a couple people down for any specific matchups first?
Yeah. So kind of the main thing we're looking for here, it's kind of like in a traditional vert bracket setup. We have Dawn over top in the deep space. That's, her specialty. And then Kaylin Louder, who was like the most awesome player that I feel like no one has heard about for no good reason. Like if you want someone to stop someone from getting the disc, it's Kaylin. She will shut down the best player on every single team, took the best matchup on every single team. She's number 8 out there. She's matched up with Laura Bloomy. Yeah. So Laura Bloomy is in the green headband. Kaylin's like given that one-on-one matchup of just like deny front Laura. And then we have like someone sitting in the open side lane, someone sitting in the break side lane, and then a cap on the front of the stack. And then our handler defender like loose in the lane. That's 99 Macy.
If they happened to have come out in horizontal, did you have like a contingency?
They were matched up.
Just that's
all of them were matched up. And
really?
They just know how to file into their vert bracket according to where they are. So if they were in Ho, we just would have in person with help probably.
Okay, cool. So the 1 is tight to the stack. Where is the 2 in the open side lane or the break side lane?
So
it depends. So it depends where Laura Bloomy is. Like we would isolate these specific players. It would either be Julia Hasbrook or Laura Bloomy, and the order, the change to our vert bracket is that whoever's on that person is tight and fronting. So it doesn't matter where they are in the stack; they're tight and fronting, knowing that they have help coming from the open side, break side, and back of the stack.
You know what's interesting is like when we run junks or brackets, or especially around a vert, Oftentimes it's because we don't know the personnel as well. And what's interesting to me is that you knew their personnel very well and are still matched up intentionally,
Yeah.
especially against their main player.
Yeah, I think that's like a strength of this particular defense is we like achieve both the kind of benefits of having a bracket that is like taking away those primary spaces that people are cutting into off of vert stack, while also ensuring that the like key matchups that we want are set in place. So when we do lock into type person, we have like Kaylin on Laura, we have Teresa on Julia Hasbrook, like we have the matchups that we want. We have Dawn on someone that she can like be a little bit more poachy helping off of.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
that's interesting. So is Dawn maybe intentionally she is taking a weaker matchup then, quote in quotes.
Yeah, that's
so
the
she
superpower
can
of
focus on
having
helping.
Kaylin is that Kaylin is going to take the best player on the other team, and then when we have Kaylin, Dawn can take someone else.
Oh my gosh, I love hearing the details of that. Actually,
yeah. So let's say they overload a side, like they kind of do to get it to whoever has the disc now.
Sorry, rewind too much.
Yeah. So if they overload a side, who's helping kind of fill that overload?
You're saying if they just double cut to one side?
Yeah, if they double cut to a side. So yeah, so whoever's getting the disc now is like the second person into this space. Is there a responsibility of someone to kind of to cover that double, or is it maybe concede that one and then contain from there?
See Dawn coming in.
Yeah, Dawn comes into there. So are you conceding a shallow wide throw because it's like kind of whatever, and then containing from there?
Yeah. And I would say like in kind of our standard vert bracket, we would have another person who's playing kind of like an orbit role and would be responsible for taking that double cut. But here, like we said, like we're being intentional about taking away the people that we don't want to have the disc in their hands, and it's okay. Like we force them to reset the disc first. Like that's a big focus of ours is just getting the disc in the hands of someone who isn't their like go-to center handler, make them throw the first driving pass downfield, and then like it takes a second for Dawn to recover from that deep help position to match up on them, but like I think that's something we're comfortable with.
Dude, I love this. We run this like, but it's not. We don't match up like you did with the person you're highlighting on that point. We just kind of run a box and then fall into person.
And then we get stuck with a bad matchup. We get absolutely burned. Like this is so like Bravo's going to run this year.
No. Okay, you're not in our division. Yeah. I think the being able to mostly remain with an appropriate matchup is not something that we have really discussed as a benefit of openly discussed as a benefit of this, but I think it's a very fortunate byproduct is like when we are running this
of the preparedness because you know.
But specifically when we're running this adjusted vert bracket, we're like, okay, we're vert bracketing except for you're guarding the most heavily relied on player and you're just guarding them. You're not thinking about anything else. Is like they're probably just going to continue to be on that player because they're not looking to switch.
And if I'm green headband, what's her name again? Sorry.
Laura Bloomy.
Yeah, if I'm Laura there, I hate my life because it's a bracket and I have someone tight to me. That sucks. Like that makes it really, really hard. And it just makes her job. She already has a hard job being like a center point of their offense. It makes her job that much harder and that much more frustrating and that much more uncomfortable.
If you have Kaylin Louder on you, awesome. I don't like anyone in the division. If you have Kaylin Louder on you, you should probably like lay the fuck
just
down.
Clear.
Yes.
Just clear. Yeah.
She's we should say her name like 20 more times on this podcast. I have no idea why no one is saying her name. She is.
How long has Kaylin been on
the? She started barely before Allie. She was a U24 mixed player past summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, if we go through Kaylin's matchups across nationals, like Kaylin guarded Jolie Krebs first game of the tournament, guarded Cleo Phillips when we played Colorado, guarded Trout Waybright when we played Oregon, like Laura when we played Santa Barbara. Like every big name person who's like on those All-American rosters, like that's Kaylin's matchup, and she's gonna make their life miserable.
She's a freak. She's like an athletic freak.
It is crazy how little recognition matchup defenders get across all divisions. It's crazy. It's probably the hardest job in the sport, and they barely get any
Yeah.
recognition.
She is kind
Where
of just an unsung hero of this particular iteration of the Pleiades roster because she was out for 10 months with, what did she have, a fracture in her spine? Something incredibly serious.
Oh,
Wow.
Like really
Yeah.
bad, was out, wasn't even sure if she was going to be able to play in our roster because our defense is kind of structured around like Kaylin's going to take the best person and then Dawn is going to get therefore an easier matchup and then everyone gets an easier matchup. Like our roster looks so
cascading
different.
effect, yeah.
Our roster looks so different
yeah.
even just without that one person, which I feel like there's not a lot of people on our roster that if you took them out, it would look that different because we do have a lot of depth. But removing Kaylin affected us in a way that maybe maybe other people anticipated. I didn't anticipate that it would be that stark with and without her, but somehow she came back after 10 months of not playing, not running, and was the second best defender on our team.
You mentioned that I think you had a specific adjustment to Oregon. I don't think there was a good clip, but is there anything from that game that you can share?
Do you want to answer, Allie? I
You
can
want-
also go. I was just gonna say
I
it's
can
like kind
say-
of more or less the same thing, but Allie can elaborate.
Yeah, very similar. Like we knew that on Oregon's roster, they were almost always looking to initiate to either Trout Waybright or Cyrus Lingfield. So we had Kaylin guarding them and kind of having that similar role of like, even if we're in some sort of other like bracket, you're just going to be keyed in on denying them the ball on that initiating under. They ran more of like a kind of split stack, like side stack into ISOs or just like one out in isolation space. So it was more of that kind of like side stack bracket concept.
Which is what I typically think of when I think of your offense, although I didn't watch you play as much this year as I did last year.
You're talking
Yeah.
about side stack offense?
Yeah.
That's kind of the bread and butter for sure.
Awesome. And I imagine it was pretty effective against Oregon.
Oregon gave us a good game. That was a fun game.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was close. They play.
Yeah.
I think that's a blessing and a curse of being Pleiades is that like teams will always play their best games against us. You know?